Oh, we're back here in Harrisburg at halftime. 6-4, the Utica City FC leading the Harrisburg Heat. We'll run down all the stats and highlights for you in just a little bit. Onua Obasi joining me here at halftime. Welcome to the broadcast booth.
Nice one, John. Thanks for having me.
I know you'd rather be down there right now. What's going on with your injury?
Yeah, of course. A game like this, it's against one of my former teams. I would have loved to have been out there, but I caught a little calf strain. I did in the last game. Maybe pushed it a little hard in the third quarter and it's kept me out this weekend, which is disappointing, but it's part of the game.
And you had, going into this weekend and not playing 7 blocks, you were actually leading the team in blocks at that point. You love being back there and the large frame of yours making a lot of stops. Yeah,
no, I think that's part of the game, you know. When I played outdoor, I wouldn't slide that much. You know that you're taught not really to slide as much, but indoor, one of the beautiful things about it is you can play the game a little differently, and getting down, making those blocks, and stepping into the shots is something you have to do if you want to be effective.
Now you've been around the league here for a while, and you came over to Harrisburg this season. How'd you end up coming to Harrisburg?
You know what? I was with Baltimore last season, and I needed a new team to play for. I spoke with Pat. I must admit it was a really good first conversation, and that's been the relationship since. Pat was a former teammate of mine, so you know I had a certain image of him from when I was a teammate. Top player. I was just explaining to actually one of the fans about how he played. So he was a top player, but I didn't really know him so much. I was a rookie, and he was a senior veteran, and then when I spoke to him on the phone, it was nice to almost come full circle and speak the game with him, and he was explaining some things, and you know, I really liked what he said, so it was an easy decision in the end. Yeah,
you know, being a former Defender of the Year and being so solid on that back line when he was a player, to learn from him, what's the practices like here in Harrisburg? Does he give more of the defensive angle and yelling at you defensive guys more than the offense?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think he has a good balance. If I'm honest, like, you know, I've had a lot of different coaches, and he, as a player, he was an excellent player, both on the ball and off the ball.
That's right.
He was very good. He was obviously a defender, but the man could pass the ball as good as any player I've ever seen. So when I see him in training and see the messages that he gives, it's pretty consistent with how he was as a player. It's just like, be effective. If you can be effective using your skill set that might have been different to his, he lets you get on with it. I think obviously the younger players, he has to be a little bit more direct and say, this is what I want, X, Y, and Z. But, you know, with the older players, the more experienced players, he lets you get on with it and just gives you a little guide. So I think it's a good balance.
Now you mentioned you came here from Baltimore, but you've been in the league, you've played also outdoors, you've been in Canada. Any one particular spot that you've really loved playing at or a team with coming to Harrisburg?
You know what, just off the air, me and you were chatting, and I mentioned I learned a lot when I was in Rochester. So I had Bob Lilly, who you knew as a player back in the day.
Hall of Famer here with the Heat.
Yeah,
correct.
And a top coach, I think USL Hall of Fame coach. And I had him, very fortunately, my first 2 years. And it was one of those eye-opening experiences where I didn't know how little I knew about the game until I had someone teaching me the game. And that was at 23, 24. I wasn't super young. So those 2 years, they were hard. You know, it was a tough learning experience, but it was perfect. What I needed, I'd been craving to learn the game, and I got that in those 2 years.
Well, I think it's going to be you and Williamson going down to the wire for blocks this season, so good luck. Hopefully you both get a lot and have a great season. Know the Heat's behind here again, but they'll get back into things, I'm sure. And
nice one.
Get you back soon.
Thank you very much, John. It's a pleasure.
Right,
nice one.
you.
Cheers.
And we'll be back at 6-4 here at halftime in favor of Utica City FC.